Hello and welcome back to another episode of Generation Films. My name is American Ben. Space Sweepers is a lot of fun, and today I need to break it down in this spoiler light review. I say spoiler light because some of y'all get mad at me when I share even the slightest detail about a film, like,
I can't believe that you told me that the characters in the film breathe air, dude!
Not all of them in this film actually do though, so. But I digress. Given my new channel, Generation Ochi, which explores the darkest parts of East Asian cinema and shows, Netflix is feeding me a lot of interesting titles I've never seen come up on my feed before. And yeah, I'm not one to try and disobey Netflix's algorithm. The last time I did that, my grandmother disappeared. I mean, it didn't help that I tied her to a catapult and launched her from it, but I feel like wherever she landed, Netflix definitely found her and kidnapped her. Anyway, one of the titles that has been harassing and stalking me is this movie Space Sweepers, which is billed as South Korea's first space blockbuster. And when I read its synopsis, I felt like, okay, it's sci-fi, but it just seems like it's gonna be so corny. I mean, the title Space Sweepers itself sounds kind of cheesy. So even though I thought it might be kind of cool to talk about it on this channel, I just decided to skip it. But alas, it kept coming back. It showed up in my room at night. It stole my lunch money. God damn you, Netflix. And so I finally said, you know what? Hey, I'll watch it, and let's just pretend like this was my choice. And you know what? As I said before, it was a lot of fun, in the way that sci-fi films should be fun. I mean, it got only a 6.6 on IMDb, a passable score to be sure, but nothing special. But you know the deal with sci-fi. People who don't get the genre don't get the campiness that defines it. Yes, this movie is campy. No, it's not to be held up there with the most dramatically revered and thematically complex sci-fi films of all time. But sometimes fun is what you need for a weekend watch. Space Sweepers was 1990s-like fun, the type of fun I have been craving in a sci-fi film for a long time. Everything in the West is so super serious now, too serious to be fun. Everything has to be the Revenant in space. Okay, that actually sounds like a pretty awesome movie. Space bears and everything. Still, this movie was nothing super original, but it's inspired by all the sci-fi films we know and love. The people who made this film definitely love science fiction, and they definitely know the genre. Space Sweepers reminded me of a whole host of different films, including Blade Runner, The Expanse, The Fifth Element, Alita, Guardians of the Galaxy, and Rogue One. Oh yes, definitely Rogue One. So what's this film about? Well, it tells the story of a bunch of space janitors. Just kidding. No, not kidding actually. It does tell a story about a bunch of space janitors. Though I'm sure one of you is definitely gonna have a better joke here in the comments below, and it's really gonna piss me off. Anyway, the film is set in 2092 when Earth has become nearly uninhabitable due to pollution. Thus, mega conglomerate the UTS Corporation has built an orbital space station home for humanity that can sustain human life within it. However, only a small minority of Earth's citizens are lucky enough to be selected to become citizens of UTS and thus allowed to ascend to this station. Okay, maybe there's some Elysium vibes going on here too. All of this is the brainchild of UTS founder and CEO James Sullivan, an entrepreneurial man who hates the harm and destruction humans bring upon the environments they inhabit.
Human beings are dirty. Their crimes against nature are, which, I assure you, there will be none of in our new Eden.
His ultimate goal is to terraform Mars by genetically modifying it to the point it can sustain human life. Sullivan, who fills the role of the film's antagonist, could care less about the mass of people who are excluded from his dreams of building human societies on other planets and who are likely to perish in poverty and sickness on Earth. However, life for people on UTS's space station isn't necessarily one of freedom and prosperity. The government has implemented tyrannical laws and operates an advanced police force known as the Space Guards to enforce them. One way that non-citizens can eke out a living on the back of UTS's rise is by working as space sweepers, basically spacefarers who travel around Earth's orbit, scavenging space debris and selling it to UTS. The plot of Space Sweepers follows a crew of space sweepers aboard a ship named Victory. During one scavenger mission, the crew of the Victory find a mysterious little girl named Dorothy, who UTS is desperately searching for, as according to the company, she's a dangerous robot that boasts an array of incredibly powerful abilities and weapons. The crew of the Victory then need to decide what to do with this girl. Turn her in, sell her on the black market for a reward, or protect her. And given that they don't know much about her, it's not an easy decision for them to make, but time is of essence as UTS is hot on their trail and not planning on playing nice. Now, how was the film? Like I said, I enjoyed it. It was fun, but it did have a solid amount of campiness to it. And there was also some lazy things written into the script half-heartedly to advance the story.
Don't kill them just yet. I want them to see the factory fall. The death of their planet. Then you can kill them.
But when has either of these things ever stopped us before? And honestly, it wasn't nearly as campy as I thought it would be. The story was coherent, the acting was pretty good, and the space battles were seriously impressive. Expanse, watch your back. Not only did the sci-fi battles look good though, everything in the movie looked good. The spaceships were aesthetically pleasing in and out. You know, they did that mix of all the colors thing, which like a fly to light always gets me. As for the characters, well, let's start with the villain. When I first saw him, I thought, oh no, here comes the flat, over-the-top Western bad guy who got this role only because he was the only white guy available. Okay, he was a little silly, but honestly, the character was well portrayed and at times legitimately menacing.
We have to make it stunningly clear that there is no hope left on Earth.
It was also interesting that Sullivan was an environmentalist, but that's not to say that anti-environmentalists were the good guys. More so that he used the issue of environmentalism, an issue worth caring about, to sate his psychopathic urges. So yeah, Sullivan was a little bit cheesy, but ultimately his Steve Jobsian maniacal disposition won me over. That said, the white extras in the movie, yeah, they were terrible and repeatedly overacted their parts. Being an extra is an art. You're there to make people not pay attention to you. If you accomplish that, you've succeeded in doing your job. I noticed some of the extras in the movie, so not good. Then the crew of the Victory included a great mix of personalities. You have your pretty straightforward hero in Kim Tae-ho, surrounded by an eclectic cast of lovable fools like the hard-nosed Captain Jong and the mechanic Tiger Park, a tough guy with a dark past. The best part of Victory's crew though was Bubs, the robot saving up its money to purchase a skin graft.
입 좀 다물어.
난 입 벌린 적이 없는데. 근데 왜 나한테 화를 내고 그래? 에이, 막판하고 그만하자. 재미도 없고 서로 예민해지기만 하는 거.
This android had K2SO from Rogue One written all over it. It was cynical but charming, and its interactions with Dorothy were hilarious and adorable. The music in the movie was also really well done and aided the high-octane chase scenes and space battles effectively. The story itself was nothing too memorable, but it was good enough, and the point of the film was to just sit back and enjoy the ride anyway. This movie is for fans of the sci-fi genre specifically. It knows the kind of stuff y'all like to see and hear.
나 이래야 돼. 위에 선장님 방에 올라가 있어.
태호 삼촌, 그거 알아요? 우주에서는 위도 없고 아래도 없대요.
I can't really recommend it to people who don't know the genre. I think you're just gonna find this movie silly if you're looking for something more highbrow. I will say that the film felt a little bit long at about 2 hours and 15 minutes. That runtime is right in line with other sci-fi blockbusters, but the thing is, I did think that some parts of the film could be cut down. They spent a lot of time explaining characters' backgrounds through flashbacks. Overall, what I love so much about this movie is that I feel like it's a sign of things to come. And by things, I mean that because of the advent of new technology that makes special effects easier and cheaper to implement, now what usually would be B-level campy sci-fi movies are going to actually be somewhat decent, and in this case, even fun and visually impressive. According to Wikipedia, this movie only took $21.2 million to make, and while I don't have the keenest eye for visual effects, this seemed to me like a $150 to $200 million movie. I love the South Korean movie industry, and I love what they're doing right now. I love that though they've been making amazing films for ages, they're yet on the come up, and their film industry is slowly becoming an international powerhouse. Anyway, overall, Space Sweepers had its share of cheese, it had its share of flaws, but overall it was classic sci-fi fun. I'm so rooting for the South Korean film industry because it's long been overlooked, so please watch this film if you're a lover of sci-fi. I promise that if you know the genre, you will enjoy this film. And definitely come back and let me know your thoughts on it if you do. Anyway, that's the video. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please do give it a big thumbs up. As I said, if you do end up seeing this film, come back here to the comments afterwards and let me know what you thought of it. Remember to subscribe to this channel. Hit that notification bell so you don't miss a damn thing. For now, my name is American Ben, Generation Films. Peace.